recording. Thank you all so much for coming. It's just thrilling to see you, and it's even more thrilling to have the event to celebrate. So before I go into any talk or reading, I just want to give thanks to Ken Yamamoto, who works at the lab and is also a concert pianist, and has agreed to just make this, bump it up a little, make it more stuff. And I want to thank the Monday writers. 3 of them are here. Jan Patterson, you'll hear from her. Margaret Lubala. Jane Cook. One of the people is right now has a broken leg, and the other woman got sick. So what can you say? Melinda Nix is here. Just stick your hand up. She is my editor. She's my editor for Unfolding, and this could not have happened without Melinda. Thanks again, just huge gratitude to you. And to Christ Lutheran Church family. This is our new job, being Russ. We really love it. We love this community of humble and, unpretentious people. We fit here because we prefer not to be pretentious either. So this is a great place, and they've given me their space, our space, for this afternoon. And to my girlfriend, Kaarin Anderson, who just happens to be walking in. Kaarin put this event together, and she's worked very hard to prepare refreshments, and I have other friends and neighbors that donated food, so thank you, thank you, thank you. I wanted to do this partly because I wanted to talk about reminiscence and life review. By the time I finished doing Unfolding, my book, I had thought a whole lot about the legacy that I wanted to leave to our children, but particularly our grandchildren. So I am going to share just a little bit of research from a large volume called Aging, Spirituality, and Religion by Kimball and McFadden, in case you care to check. It put words on the experience that I've had in creating a memoir. First, this is for you. Every life is a novel. Every life is a novel. Your life is a novel. My life is a novel. And every story is worth telling. No life is insignificant. While disclosing our stories, we wrestle with questions like, did my life really matter to anybody? Was my time on earth well spent? What can I look back on with pride instead of shame? What did I mean to others? And what did I mean to others? Answering those questions was actually a marvelous experience for me, and that's because I'm now 77. If I had attempted this project in my 20s, my self-report would have been a disaster. Upset, strung out, unbalanced, miserable, etc. It's great to be old if you're not sick. That's my bottom line. Life review and reminiscence yields long-term gains by bringing understanding to the events of our lives, both the wreckage and the romance. So in doing this, we are sharing our hearts. I want you to hear that again. We are sharing our hearts with future generations. And what is more important than our heart? Written memories have become valuable, especially because, and there would be several people here who know this, we are not living with our children and our grandchildren. They are not sitting at our knee hearing stories about grandma and grandpa and old crabby Tanti Johanna. So, written memoirs have taken a more important place. In fact, over the past decade, there's really been an uptick, unprecedented, in publications by aging adults who want to tell their story. And I believe that this impulse for self-reflection is indicative of those of us in particular that are baby boomers. But in all times and in all places, from the beginning of time, people have shared their stories. We all know that. I think that we're giving so much attention to this because we may realize by now money is not the most important legacy. The most important legacy is that our children and grandchildren know us. They know the things that made our hearts sing, and they know the places where we stumbled and had made some maybe brutal mistakes and got up, hopefully, picked ourselves up and kept trucking. So we like to tell our stories, we women in our 70s and 80s in particular, and leave behind these memories and these true stories exactly so that our grandkids and our children will know that the first time they trip up, it's okay. Someday you're going to be glad you did in an odd way because you're going to know it made you who you are. We can't become integrated persons without some real hard living. At least that's my bias. So for me, Unfolding is the culmination of a project that began 10 years ago with these three women. We took a class at Santa Fe Community College from Barbara Rockman, very well-established poet in town. And this class just hooked me from the second I saw it. Women writing their lives. I was there. I was like, yes, somebody designed this for moi. But then, when it was finished, there were 5 or 6 of us. Margaret, I think you said, who wants to keep going? And we did. And we have spent most Mondays for the past 10 years together, from 10 to 12, writing and helping each other, doing some gentle critiques. I think all of us grew a great deal in the strength of our writing. I would not ever have attempted what I've been able to do without the time with these women. And the other thing that happened to us, of course, being girls, we told our stories in writing and in person. And we have supported one another through good times and not so great times. Margaret was my inspiration. Margaret Llewellyn? Okay. I wish I had asked Margaret to bring a copy of her book. She's our forerunner, our foremother in publishing. Actually, Jane, you published probably even before any of us, but never mind. I'm pumping Margaret. She has a beautiful collection called Small Arrows, and maybe sometime we can make that available here too, because people love it. It's on Amazon, right?
Yes.
Okay, you could say more about it. You could give a commercial. So Unfolding is my story divided up into my family history, and it's stories about my parents, my grandparents, my aunts and uncles, children, grandchildren, and some of those are just essay form. The parts that I like the best, the first part is my story, my autobiography, told basically in poetry. It's really been cool learning to tell my story in poetry because I love poetry. And it includes my passions for cats, collages, which I'll tell you a minute about that, and gardening. And so because I'm a product of a highly religious family, and I worked as a hospital chaplain and a pastor, so there's a lot of reflection on faith and the meaning of life, and a lot of good stuff about death, very big into the dying process. And that's me. All right, so this is for you, should you choose to tell your own story, you would tell it very differently, but you might choose to tell it through a photographic essay. You might choose a quilt, a series of paintings, any other medium that means a lot to you. I was trying to think, how would you leave a legacy garden? Because if you move a lot, then maybe no one would see it, but at least you'd have that exercise and could show it to your kids before you moved. But you can think about it. Think about the importance of your journey. What you have that you could say, not just to kids and grandkids, but to life, to the world. We're such good stories. You will have reviewed the whole of your life, as I've said, joys and sorrows, achievements, failures, loves, and losses. And you'll discover the thing that I mentioned, that you're leaving something a lot more valuable than money. You are leaving yourself wrapped in a package of your own choosing to be opened and uncovered by those who have known and loved you, but also people who have never heard of you. But they might find your book in a thrift store someday, and they might pick it up. That has happened to me, frankly, quite a lot. Pick up a book, and there's someone's story, and it's my story. So I really urge you to consider this. My memoir is dedicated to my grandchildren, 7 and 9. Eva is 9, and I've written this to her because, as I've made abundantly clear, I just want her to know you can make mistakes in life, and you can recover, and you can become strong and happy with yourself, even if it takes you till you're 75 or 77 or 80. So finally, I encourage you to think about finding a vehicle. I know that we weren't raised this way. The greatest generation were not people who were encouraged by their folks to know how they felt in their inner selves. They didn't have any tools to tell us kids, at least most of them, about their inner life. But we boomers do. We've been questioners, protesters. We've been out there on the edge, and we have good stories about it. So thank you for listening to those remarks. I'm going to just tell you a little bit about the art that's on the wall. I am a person who makes a lot of collages. There are 4 or 5 of them in my book, and there's a wall of them. And I do that because I want to celebrate women, all women. So I'm just going to read you my little artist statement. This collection is called Woman Spirit Rising. And I use images, acrylic paint, text, and symbols to express aspects of women's journeys. My palette is bold because I believe women have always had to act boldly in order to survive the tide of male constructs so prevalent in our lives. I identify deeply with the joys and sorrows of women worldwide, and I celebrate the joy of discovering a woman's way of being in this world. So thank you. Thank you very much. And now, I'm going to read a few poems, and I'm going to ask my friends to read a few as well. So this is obviously super autobiographical, this first one. I know you're going to get that in 1 second. I am. I am impossibly tender, born without protective membrane, yearning for a nest, a wing to shelter under. I am naked in a clothed world. Lonely from birth, I weep for joy and every sorrow. Tears spill at any slight, in shame, rage, and awe. I was formed porous by the potter at his wheel. Yet I have seen such pots repaired by gold in shattered places. And from this vessel I have poured the oil of mercy over many wounded hearts. Who heals the healer, I wonder? The ones who listen, the ones who whisper, you are who you were meant to be. What has been pierced will mend in time. The second one, not the best page turner, is about our son, John Christer. It's called Firstborn. My little fish, coaxed from my warm sea, I bore you like unripe fruit. The labor long, the forceps pinching. I sang at your birth. You nestled into my waiting breast, nibbled, retreated, too weary to suckle. We were new, tiny frog. Under incubator lights, cotton balls taped to your eyes. We were a timid duet, waiting in our hospital cocoon for your sallow color to blush pink. You became my bright-eyed boy, ablaze with imagination, words tumbling, questions spilling, at home in the world. Then in a foreign country, an ocean away, with a new language, a new school, bullies hurt you. Yet you flourished. You found your voice in word crafting, in fatherhood, in song. And I have the great joy of having our daughter here this afternoon, Kaarin, and this is a poem. You know, some poems you really labor and crank it out, and then you hate it, and then you erase it, start over. This one just flowed right out. Kaarin's child of grace. That's what Kaarin means. I longed for this daughter, joined heart to heart from conception. A dark-haired beauty with a lusty cry, nights and days askew, she rested on her father's chest. Her toddler brother, yearning for my lap, watched silently while she nursed. My arms full of her pure essence. Tied to each other from the beginning, the umbilical cord persisting through struggle and joy. The grace that is in her, evident in her forgiving nature, tender toward those who disappoint her, larger in spirit than me. I celebrate her kindness and resilience. She is the friend of my heart and soul. I travel my aging path, certain that she will walk me home. And finally, if I can find it, and if I can, I'll have the girls go first. It's not looking good. I'm going to introduce Jan next. Jan Patterson is many things. She is an actress, a writer, a multimedia artist, probably a lot of other stuff. But most of all, she is my extremely close friend. Thank you, Jan.
This couldn't be better. I personally believe poetry is meant to be spoken, whether it's mine or somebody else's. So this is just grand. Today I learned a lovely new expression. Keep a clear lens. Keep a clear lens. I know many fine women, and they are here today, many of them. None is more gracious than my dear friend, Kaarin, Granber-Michaelson, who sees with a clear lens. I'm so thrilled to be a part of this reading of her words that she has worked on for the last decade. What a thrill.
Thank you.
She's given me the privilege of reading 3 of her poems. I will do them as well as I can. The first is called Master Gardener. She and I share that approbation. I cannot remember a time without a garden. Dad in mismatched shorts and bandana, Mom announcing lemonade breaks. Dad sweats and toils, turns his head for lectures in this fine art. The science of the soil, transplanting and watering, considering when to nourish or toss out an ailing plant. His patience infinite. His shovel pierces the roots of an old hosta. He teaches the math of multiplication by division. I watch him practice his craft, proclaim his roses need him. Don't forget, the roses want a good drink. I think how he needs them. The second poem is called A Man Called Fred. Does this sound like Kaarin? Yes. A Man Called Fred. Today's Fred's yellow pad sits idle on the bookshelf. His breathing labored. The room is silent. I pull up a chair to his bedside, begin to sketch an enormous polar bear, blowing warm breath into Fred's collapsing lungs, enfolding him like a mother. Great chief, I say, it is time to go to your village in a faraway land. He nods and offers me a faint smile. The next time I enter Fred's room, it smells of bleach and Lysol. His posters and Playboy calendar are gone, along with Marilyn's breasts and Dolly Parton's cleavage. At the Elks Lodge, I study Fred's hard-living biker friends. What can I say to them? They've lost him twice, once to brain injury and now to death. But I hold up Hefner's bunnies one by one. The crowd snickers. Friends, I say, our great chief has left us. May his dreams be fulfilled in a cloud of female flesh. May he rest in blissful peace. The third poem that I am treasured to read has the unremarkable name, oh wait, I mean remarkable. It's called Unremarkable Saints. Unremarkable, unsung saints, plain in looks and quiet in spirit, do not boast of miraculous feats. They go about their business calmly. Nothing about them says, look at me. Catherine Sherburne knew her Bible, shared its stories Sunday with itchy 7th graders around a Formica table in the church basement. Lord knows only a saint does that. She taught us simply, devoid of big ideas. Imagine being Mary when she found out she was pregnant. Our faces reddened. How could you say pregnant in church? I used to study her freckled skin and curvy hair. In spring, she wore a pastel coat, a pillbox hat of powder blue, and matching gloves. Catherine did not go to college, did not assemble faith from erudite discussion. It came to her as she scrubbed her kitchen floor, hung the laundry, cooked for Mel, sewed for Lynn. Yet I would hold her faith with greater minds and gratitude. Her path crossed mine.
Thank you, Jan. Now I'd like to introduce Margaret again. Margaret, come on up. And I'd love you to just tell us a little bit about your book, because she really is our forerunner with the books.
Okay.
Do it.
Hi, everybody. It was a few years ago, and I'm getting older. We share the same age, Kaarin and I. And I've been in writing workshops for 30 years, or 35 years. So I had a poem over here on the shelf. I had one, I don't know, under a pillow. I mean, they were all over the place. And I thought, maybe I should gather them together, because otherwise, someone's just going to chuck them out. They might chuck out the book too, but I thought that at least it would be something of me that they would, I would leave for my children and my grandchild. And so that's how it came about. And so these guys were my editors. I would bring my poems every week, and they would make them better. And I finally put it together, and it's really a wonderful accomplishment. I'm working on a second book of short stories, but this is Kaarin's day, so I don't want to talk about it too much. So I want to say that it's been an absolute pleasure to be on this writing journey with Kaarin for the last 10 years. It's amazing, 10 years, and I'm writing every Monday, or of 52 weeks, maybe 43, something like that. And I'm so honored that she asked me to read this group of her poems today. And you'll hear themes in here of gardens and grandchildren and life. The first one's called Planting Hope. I can place my heart next to yours when nothing else will do. Together, we will tell each other what we know and what we don't, what can change and what will never, how to survive broken dreams. I can place my heart next to yours, as I have since you were born, a little sister eager for my company, taken care of then as now. And I would, if it was possible, move mountains, ford streams for you. What we do is all we can. Look to the garden, lift our spades, place a plant in yielding soil, plant hope as nothing else will. So I'll turn the pages either, but I didn't mark them all. Okay, this next one is called Heartbeat. My heart inclines its ear, hears the rivers of grief in a friend's words. It is the unsaid that shapes our secret seams of sorrow. The eyes of the heart pierce this darkness, observe, absorb. The pulse tunes to suffering, racing and slowing, This is a desert place. Between scrub and stream, we gather our bone-dry lives, void of hope for anything green. The wide sky says, compose a melody, howl with the coyotes, sing with the wolves. Is there anything new to say when loss is bitter, belief is gone? You are not alone in this place. My heart is ample. There is a friend who knows. This next poem is called Small Joys. There is bliss in a mountain meadow, luminescent butterfly wings, stars in the night sky, a moon path over water. There is delight in hearts that find each other in a granddaughter's gaze. The silken cord that binds us, joy lives in shouts of acclamation, bold song and dancing feet, ducking under sprinklers, running in the wind. It unfurls in the stillness of shared dreams and struggle with this man who loves me as I am, resides in the comfort of his arms. Joy perches at the foot of our bed. And let me find our last poem. It's in here. Yes. It's called Gratitude. I thank you, God, for eyes to see, your hand guiding me, for a partner beside me in brokenness. Every new effort, every experience of wonder for children to fill my heart, for the rambunctious joy of grandchildren, for hard-won wisdom, companions on my journey, humor to smile at my sagging parts, embarrassing lapses, strength for stinging losses. For this moment and the hours to come, that you are in the circle of those who love me. And in the final darkness, I will know you.
Thank you, Margaret. Could you leave your book? I forgot mine. I'm going to read one last one. Thank you so much, Margaret.
Sure.
This is the one I couldn't find. And I like it, and so I just wanted to read it. And it's dedicated to my husband, Wes. Although, of course, it's about me, because everything is about me all the time, as you know. It's called The Pairing. When I am cold in the ground, my voice silenced, my parting days more vivid than our years together, will you agree that I lived with passion and sought to find compassion, that my eyes were fixed on finding God in the nearness of one another, immersed in stories of human longing, the secrets of my life known to you, the early wounding that shaped me, how ill-prepared I was to find my way, my shifting moods and fears, the harsh judgments, the struggle to forgive, that I found refuge in art and music, handfuls of books and cats, and in the arranging of growing things in so many gardens. In quiet moments of reflection, will you remember the stream of love, the piercing joy I had in you, how the intersection of our paths was grace to me, the wonder of the healing oil that came to each of us in our pairing. Thank you. That's it. did two things. We've got great food in there, got some art. Most of all, we have Ken Yamamoto and the piano. So please, the bathrooms, by the way, in the back of this hall, there's a funky-looking little area, and there's men on one side and women on the other. I'm sure you can find it. Thank you very much again.